Hello, hello. Hi, guys. Just gonna get some more people to come on in here. We are doing our first live Let's Discuss, where we are talking about my book. If you can't see behind me, but Love Saw It. So that's what this evening's live is about. So glad you guys could come in and join us. Hello, hello. Hey, Sasha Black 5.0. Hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey, Tony underscore indie script. Hello. Just going to give some people some time to come on in here before we get started. Hey, go make yourself a cup of tea so y'all can get y'all chill on. Hey, Tracy. T. Lynn Harris. Thank you, Tony. Thank you very much. Hey, Tanya at the_Laura_Carter_team. Hey, Joy. Hi, everybody. Come on in here, y'all. Come on. Let's have some fun tonight, y'all. Oh, you're taking a break from studying. What are you studying for? Your Series 65? Is that what you're doing? Hey, Dr. Danielle. Come on in here. I'm going to push the button so I can bring you on in here. Give me 1 second. Let me find you real quick. Lady, Tanya. Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight for my first installment of Let's Discuss. Ooh, hey. Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Danielle Lawton coming on in here for Let's Discuss this evening. I'm just giving people some time to come on in here. People are coming in, honey. I'm just waving at everybody. Just waving
okay.
at everybody.
Hey, everyone.
Introduce yourself to the people. Let them know who you are and what you do. So.
Hang on 1 second. Hey, everyone. I am Dr. Danielle Lawton. I am an educator. I'm a clinical social worker. I'm an entrepreneur. I have a whole lot of things going on. And I am lucky to be one of the first individuals to have my eyes on this book. And I can't wait to get into this discussion. And look, I have something I want to show you that I'm going to wait.
What you got?
I'm going to wait. Look.
The manuscript.
Yes. I was like, look. So we'll talk about that later.
Oh my gosh.
We will
you got some line sisters on here. Danielle, you got a couple of them. LaTanya.
Hey, Alice. How are you?
She's here. Go on, get y'all. Say hello to everybody. Go on, do what y'all do.
You met her when she was here in LA, Tanya.
I did?
Yeah, she met her here in LA.
Which one?
Kendall. The tall one. When it was two. Remember, one went to sleep. She was the one that stayed up.
Okay. Hey, oh, hi. Hey, girlfriend.
Hey, everyone. They're coming in here.
Hey, Lady Simone. Oop, my publicist is here. Phyllis is joining us today.
Hello.
She's here. You got another soror. Here you go.
Hey, Auntie Cheryl. Hey, Auntie Cheryl.
A bunch of y'all in here. I love it. I absolutely love it.
Y'all have to get your hands on this book.
All right, everybody. So as I said, this is my first installment of Let's Discuss. We're going to talk about all things Love Saw It. And I promise you guys, we won't have any spoilers on here.
Not one.
For those of you who have not read the book, we just want to have a fun conversation, just so we can just talk about the book, the process, and whatever else comes up. And if you guys that have read the book have any questions, make sure you chime in. But again, do not give anything away for the people who have not read the book. And I'm going to pin where you can purchase the book. If you get it from my website, you can you'll get it autographed. Ooh. If you buy it from Barnes & Noble, Amazon, or Walmart, obviously it's not going to be, and I'm going to pin that. It's not going to be a autograph, duh, but
Right.
but you can pick it up there. Excuse me, guys. Again, the name of the book is called Love Saw It. There is actually another book by the same name, but it doesn't have this cover or this name. So make sure when you're purchasing it, you get the right book with the right cover and the right name. So, all right. So real quick, guys, Dr. Lawton, or, as I call her, Danielle, she was one of the first people that I gave the manuscript to. And the reason being is because we all need that one girlfriend that's going to tell it like it is, T-I-S. And I knew that she would. And I knew that, she would take it, she would read it, she would dissect it because she's a Virgo. So she's very analytical and she's a perfectionist. So I knew that she would take it and kind of pick it apart if there were some things to pick it apart. And my overall thing was I just needed to know if it made sense. Continuity-wise, was there a flow? So I gave it to her, and I'll let her tell you what she did with it.
Okay, so can we get started? Let's set the stage for this whole conversation, right? It's 2021. We're at your place doing our weekly Insecure viewing on Sunday, and you popped this on me like, hey, I'm working on a project. So I was like, okay, what you working on? You was like, I'm working on a book. Wow, sounds interesting. You was like, do you want to read a piece? I think it was like 2 pages, right?
Yep.
And so I'm reading 2 pages. I'm like, wait, that's pretty good. And it had a shocker. So 2021. So I'm asking, when are we going to finish this? Because I need to see some more. I need to read some more. And fast forward to 2022, show up in September with this envelopes. And she hands it to me and walks away. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to read a couple of pages a night. What I tell you, I'll get back to you in a couple of weeks.
Right.
Because I'm very busy, right?
Like, I'm busy. I'll take a stab at it. I'll look at it.
Booked and busy, right? So I climb into bed with this bad boy. I'm reading. It's about 9 o'clock. It's about 3 o'clock. It's about 4 o'clock. So I'm almost over halfway done with this book. And I'm scared to put it down because I'm like, I might miss something. And finish the book the next day. And then I text you. What I text you?
You were like, girl, my wig is blown.
Like, wig should have been glued down. And it was super duper amazing. And so let's just start there with what this Love Saw, what you produce. This is an excellent piece of work. And if you don't have it, go get it. So let's do some background from concept to this being on the shelf. Tell us the history. How long did it take you to produce Love Saw It?
Okay, so this book or novel literally came to me over 10 years ago. I had a story in my head. Obviously, I hadn't developed it. I had just the main 2 characters, Kevin and Layla, and just kind of wanting to tell their journey, their love story. And so I initially, like I said, I had something to write, and I would, and then all of a sudden, nothing would come to me. Like when they talk about writer's block is a thing. There would be nothing would come to me, and I'm talking about for months. Nothing would come. And then it would just come like a tidal wave, and I just get to writing. And so I just think that for so many of us, when we think about what a writer is, we have something in mind, and so I never necessarily considered myself a writer, I was just jotting things down, my thoughts, ideas, as they came into my mind. And then I was just like, you know what? I think I have something here. And that's just kind of how the journey started, with me just, really being intentional and sitting down and dedicating time to write. Because you have to do that. You have to sit, you have to be still, and you have to carve out some time to be able to do this, to allow for the creative process to come. And that's what really ended up happening. So when you say from conception to now, it literally took over 10 years to just get it all together, because I had to also develop the characters. One thing that I wanted to do was just to give people background information for the different characters that I had in the book.
Okay. Thank you. And while we're on that note, give us a little bit about the characters, because I know when you're reading this book, I am an avid reader. I collect books. I read books over and over again. I believe the readers, they're going to become really intimate with these characters, and they're going to either love them or not so love them. So tell us about these characters and how you rounded them out to be so, vibrant.
Um, the characters are again just my imagination. What I did was in writing the book, which you guys will see, I wanted to try and be as detailed as possible. I know for many of us, we're very, very visual, so I needed to create that imagery to go along with each particular character. The names of the characters in the books are actually names of friends, or people that I've met along the way. Like Miss Danielle here is Danielle McSwain, the attorney in the book. So, woo woo. Layla Simone Lane, she's the lead character. Layla is my girlfriend Jadel's daughter. Her name is Layla, spelled a little different, but I always liked that name. When I was in the Army, they called me Leia. So it's, just to play on that. Simone is my best friend, Simone, and Lady Simone, I think she's on here. That's Simone. And then Lane, the last name is two friends. I have a friend named Cara Lane, and I have a friend named Gail Lane. And I just love the way that flowed. Layla Simone Lane. So a lot of the characters are based upon people who have kind of been in and out of my life, but I just took kind of some of their characteristics and then played upon that. So no one particular person may be, true to form. It's just the characteristics of these people is how I integrated them into the book.
Mm-hmm. I know that the characters, they were very well developed. They were introduced and it was no stone left unturned. And so I think the reader will understand the connection. You gave an awesome backstory and the connections. Now, I want to ask you this, the locations in the book, we out here in LA living our best lives. I was able to connect with some of the LA scenes. Tell us about some other locations that you included in the book.
So obviously LA, because during the late 90s, I lived in LA. So if you guys don't know, the book is a period piece. It takes place during the late 90s, early 2000s. So obviously I had to put LA in there. I'm from Philly, so of course I'm going to put my hometown, Philly, in there. I had to represent for us. I've got Chicago. I know some people that are from Chicago. I have an aunt that lives in Chicago. There's DC, my other bestie, Jen. She lives in DC. Detroit. Now here's what's funny about Detroit. I know maybe a couple of people that live in Detroit, but I've never been to Detroit. So everything that is written about Detroit, I had to Google, I had to research, because I wanted to make this as real as possible, so that when people are reading and they get that imagery, they're like, oh my God, I know where that is. I know where that high school is. I know where that restaurant is. I know when she got on the street and she's driving down the 110 or coming from 95 from the airport. I know where that is. And so that's where a lot of that came from, just different places that I've lived or have been. And that's how we got with the locations in the book.
I was disappointed that I didn't see Bay City, Texas.
Girl, but you know what's funny? Here's what's funny. One of the characters in the book is from Killeen, Texas.
Oh, I remember. We was like, hey.
Right. And I was going to put Bay City in there, but I was like, I don't know much about Bay City.
Look.
But I did live in Killeen, Texas, because that's where I was when I was in the military. So that's why I chose
a great place.
Texas. Yeah.
And with that being said, people who know you, who've been in your life for years, they're going to say, hey, Philly, LA, is this your love story? So is Love Side your love story?
It's not. Okay, but I will be honest. Have there been bits and pieces that I kind of put in the book? Absolutely. That's just art imitating life. It's just what we do. We draw upon experience so that we can, put it in a book or whatever you decide to do. But the entire thing is totally made up, except for, like I said, small little bits and pieces or details. It could be the conversation that Layla has with her dad, some of the things that he says. You know what I mean? So some of maybe the quotes, are actually real or things that I've heard, but a lot of it is it's just totally fictitious.
It's awesome. Now, I said this morning, I posted about the book, I said it reminded me of a 90s love song. And so when we hear the title, those of us who were in that era, we know we're talking about Karen White, Babyface. I love
Absolutely.
Babyface.
Absolutely.
So out of all the R&B songs of the 90s, how did we get to Love Song?
Well, it's funny because I didn't have a title for it for a long time. But when I put that song in the book, and that's another thing about the book, it's filled with 90s R&B, you know, because again, like I said, I wanted to kind of get all the senses. I wanted the sight, I wanted the smell, I wanted, you know, just everything. So when you're reading it, you really feel like you're a part of this story. And so as I was writing it and getting to the end of it all, that song plays a pivotal role in the book in two scenes that are, you know, very, very big for the book. And so that's actually how I came up with the title of the book. And then I say, as far as 90s R&B, that's when lyrics mattered. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, we don't really have a lot of that now, but lyrics matter. And so, you know, in the song, it starts off, and I have it here. She says, I used to think that love was so silly, something that a girl like me never dreamed of. And it all was for me. No, not really, but there was not a guy who was special enough until you came and made me so happy like a child on Christmas Day. And then Babyface has his part, you know, that he says. And so for me, I was like, it's perfect. It is so perfect. And then when people hear the song and you're reading it, you know, it just comes alive, you know. So that's how I came up with the title Love Song.
And I would like to say, having read the book, I think when we pick up a book and we say, oh, it's a love story, we look for, you know, act one, a little bit of drama, and everyone runs off into the sunset. And so I will say this is a love story that's going to tug you one way or the other. And so, you know, we've shared, and after, when we're sitting here talking about this next year, I'm gonna wear my t-shirt, you know, the t-shirt I'm gonna get made. It's a character that, you know what, Danielle feeling some type of way about, Danielle feeling some type of way. And it goes back and forth. So I think the reader will definitely become intimately engaged with these characters, because they play on your heartstrings and they play on your emotions. And I think the reader, wherever you are in life, that's when, you know, because if it's a good day, I'm like, it ain't the bad. So I think they will really get into, they'll be intimate in an intimate space with these characters.
Well, let me ask you something. Who's your favorite character and who's your least favorite character?
I know off the bat, Kevin is my least favorite character. I want a t-shirt that says, Mark safe from Kevin. My favorite character, I want to say Carolyn.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
Today. You
Really?
put me on the spot.
Okay. I didn't see that coming at all.
Because she's super complex, and I would like, in your sequel, I would like to hear more about her.
Okay.
But that's tonight. But you know, I say that, I mean, Leia, but polar opposites, but I'm gonna pick two, Leia and Carolyn.
Okay. For me, I don't know. You know who I like? I like Siobhan. Yes. I like Siobhan because Siobhan is about it. You know what I'm saying? And although she's exaggerated with her accent, you know, she's a friend. You know what I mean?
Right.
She's a stand-up friend. And again, not to give anything away, but when she peeped what was going down, she was like, "Oh hell no!" And got old girl up out of that situation. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I really like her. And let me see who else. I love Kevin. I do. I love Kevin.
Look at my let me take a drink on that.
Sip your tea. I do. And let me think who else. And just even Layla's mom. And although she wasn't around long, just when she's describing her, you know, and all of that, like, you know, my heart was just like, ugh, you know. So there are quite a few characters that are really near and dear to me. I think all the women in the book are a part of me.
Okay.
So I would say all of them have pieces of me in them. So yes, the book is available on Amazon. Absolutely, it sure is. Amazon, Auntie, Barnes & Noble, and Walmart.
Yeah, Auntie's gonna get her book. We're gonna discuss it. But I would say too, Leia's dad, he seems like a very grounded individual. And I think he played a pivotal role in her life. And so her dad was a favorite too.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's what the love that she was searching for, she saw it emulated,
Mm-hmm.
so for her, he was everything,
Mm-hmm.
and so when old boy comes along, that's what she's looking for. So yeah, I agree.
And I think it's natural for a love story. It's usually central around the female characters. Now, I've seen a lot of guys post their photos. What
Yes.
did you expect from guys? Because I think guys will be engaged by this book as well. I mean, look at the cover. It's a basketball,
Right.
right? It's
Right.
it was a sports book. So I think guys are definitely going to enjoy this book. What did you expect to get from the male perspective?
For me, it was just a matter of, guys are complex
Mm-hmm.
too. You know what I mean? Guys have feelings too, and a lot of times they don't necessarily get to express them. And I wanted them to see Kevin and just how he was with Layla.
You see,
You know
every
what I
time
mean?
you say his name.
I know. And then I thought they would get a kick out of a lot of the basketball references in the book. When he gets drafted, they can go back to that time of when, certain ball players got drafted. For me, especially when it comes to the part of like the basketball where I talk about Temple University.
Mm-hmm.
Temple's, universities in Philly. And during the like late 80s, I mean, Temple basketball was like everything. So a lot of the guys that I mentioned in there are actual players that played on the Temple Owls basketball team. My father, my bonus dad, was actually best friends with John Chaney. So when I talk about him in the book, it's because their relationship, they were best friends for over 30 something years. And so even, as far as Kevin, he's a basketball player, and the challenges and things that he goes through, I thought, the guys would appreciate that as well. And to see, what I love, honestly, to see the men that are actually reading this.
Right.
And are sending me messages and all that. My heart is just like, wow, didn't see that coming, but I am loving all of it for sure.
It's something for everybody. Right. Now I will ask this, when we were younger, we used to maybe sneak a book. Is this book a child's book? Can I give this to Carson to read?
Carson's how old? She's 18, right?
She's 20.
Oh, she's 20. Yeah, Carson can read it. I mean, she, hey. Under 18, no. Over 18, by all means.
I would put that out there because I know we used to sneak our books and all that. So I'm like, it is something for everyone, and I think everyone will be thoroughly entertained. Now, tell me about, no spoilers, but writing this book, how important was it for your readers? What did you expect your readers to feel after they turn that last page?
That's what I wanted. I wanted, it's really funny because I think about, again, late 80s or early 80s. I think about when we used to watch shows like Dynasty and Dallas, and every year, like, remember Who Shot JR?
Yeah.
And I just remember that, and everybody was like, what? So for me, it was like that, and then to come back for book number 2. Because if I gave it all to you in that book, then what would be the incentive for you all to come back to book number 2? So that's why, I thought I accomplished that really, really well. So, and then, let me see, that's about it when you talk about just, the overall effect of what I wanted, people to feel at the end of the book.
But I will say this, loving love stories and knowing you, I am super surprised because there's a couple of dark pieces in this story. I'm like, oh my. And so, how was that a stretch for you to go there?
No, because I'm an actress. So so you just kind of, it's all in me. I think we all have those sides to us. I don't think we're all just one way or another. I think when put in a certain situation, you really don't know how you're going to respond until you're in that situation. So it's easy for all of us to walk around and say, I would never do this, or I would do. You have no idea because you've never been put in that situation. So it was fun to be able to do that. You know what I mean? It was fun to kind of get that creative side of me out and, introduce that as well. So absolutely. No, I had no problem going there.
Right. And remember when we initially discussed, I jumped on that judgmental train immediately. Like, oh, I know. I mean, I could never. But then I was like, wait a minute, maybe I could.
So girl, you wore me out that day.
If the text message I mean, I was just text after text because y'all, I felt like you dropped this off the week of my birthday and then just walk away. And I'm like, now you leave me with this hot potato. But it is a hot potato that's very worth it. Everyone who's on this live, you guys are lucky because when you read this book, you're going to have some context and you're going to be like, oh, let me get to these places. I did not have any warning like, hey, here's this book. And
tell me what you think.
Yeah, tell me what you think. And I read a lot, and I will say for this to be your first book, amazing. You know, the character development, the scenes, the flow of the story, the super wig snatching dropping minutes. So it was good.
Thank you.
It was
good. Listen, I tried my best. You know, I think as any type of artist, you struggle with perfection or wanting things to be perfect. But that's not life, you know, and so often people get stifled by perfection. You know, you think when you produce something that it has to be just that. And so for me, it was just like, look, I did it. A, I've never taken a writing course. B, nobody sat and said, here's how you write a book. You know, this was all just God giving me this story and me doing the work to produce it. And so, you know, if you're reading it and there's some things in there that, you know, maybe I misspelled a word or whatever it is, oh, chop it up to okay, you know, but overall, just sticking to the story, you know, I'm so proud of myself. Like, I literally, guys, I take this and I'm just here sometime and I'm like flipping and to write over 40,000 words and to expect that you're not going to have some mistakes, and good luck, y'all. Those of us that can do it, you guys show me your work after you've
like where the receipts.
You know what I'm saying? Like, where are the receipts? Show me so I can, you know, see it. And I just really put my heart and my soul into this. I really did, and I love the way it came out. I also love that I was able to show Black people in a way to where we weren't downtrodden. You know what I mean? When nobody broke, when nobody, you know, they had struggles, you know what I mean? But not the usual struggles that you see played out on TV. You know, these are all people that have gone to college. They're all doing well, you know, in their respective fields or whatever. So I really wanted to convey that too, because as Black people, we're not monolithic. You know what I mean? We're not all the same. You know, and I think sometimes we get caught up in just seeing one story played out, and I didn't want to do that. And so again, for me, not even just thinking somebody Black reading this, that whomever read this would pick it up and be like, damn, you know what I mean? You know, so that's really what I wanted to do as I was writing the book as well.
And that was refreshing too, because you're right, there's super stereotypes, right? And we deserve a love story.
Absolutely.
You know, the rich love stories that we live, that we read about, that we rarely see. So this was refreshing to see our people in love and just doing things, you know, without the struggle, without the extreme lows. It was good to just read about, you know, because to me, reading is a form of self-care. Right. And with so much stuff going on in the world, I think right now is a time for people to escape in a book.
Absolutely.
And I think it's a great escape. And speaking about self-care, and I will say I'm guilty. I'm one of the people. After reading this book, every time I've seen my friend out gallivanting, hanging out, chilling, I'm like, girl, where the next book? Like, you owe me a book. What are you doing to just live in the moment and to enjoy what's going on right now and to silence the me's that's asking you about another book already?
And it's so funny you say that, because I did a post the other day where I said, stop letting people what next you. You know, it's like, damn, can I just live in this moment and just enjoy this? Do you guys know how hard this was? You know what I'm saying? Like, don't what next me. I don't know what's next. You know what I'm saying? But I do know that book 2 is coming, but it's a process, you know, and I just want to be able to stay present, stay in the moment, and enjoy the accomplishment of what I've created thus far, because people will do that. They won't even give you 5 minutes to just be happy. You know what I mean? Oh, girl, okay, that's cool.
That book is cute. What's next?
Yeah, you know, and I'm just like, I don't want to what's next, you know? And that's the other thing. So LaTanya, she's the_Laura_Carter_teen. She and I went to high school together. Woo, woo, Kappa in the house. She said, I enjoyed reading the book, and she hasn't read a book in a few years. And
Wow.
that's the other thing that I'm loving. Like, I'm getting so much of that. People were like, Tanya, I can't even tell you, I haven't picked up a book in so long. So the other thing about the book is that it is an easy read.
Yep.
Easy read. I said this on my Instagram post. I said, if you're looking for Zora Neale Hurston or Toni Morrison, this ain't it. This is me. This is my book. Allow me to have my lane. If that's something you're wanting and you're needing, then go ahead. Go to them and go get their books. But I did. I wrote this in mind so that anyone who was getting on a plane in LA or New York and they flew across, the country, they would be done. And it's one of those things where you pick it up and you don't want to put it down. Yeah. Sasha Black 5.0 said it was filled with love, suspense, and comedy. Yes, right. That's exactly what I wanted. You know what I mean? I wanted the reader to walk away, with just that feeling of like, wow. You know what I mean? And to your point earlier, we need that. We need more of that. We see so much of the other thing that I just, like I said, I wanted all the senses involved. So that's how that all came about.
Now, I know writing the book, that highlights your creativity, because I know you do a lot. You travel, you have Hey Lady, you have so much going on, right?
Yes.
Tell me about the background, the publishing, getting this from this brown envelope to market.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
So a couple of things. I knew I wanted to self-publish, and that's a conversation that I had a friend who's also a writer. And he said one of the things about self-publishing is that you retain the rights to your material. So I didn't want to necessarily give it to somebody and them kind of do with it what they wanted. Mm-hmm. When you turn it over your intellectual property to somebody, and I didn't want to do that. I want to retain all the rights to the things that I'm producing. So I called my publicist, Miss Phyllis. She's on here at PCPR_communications_agency. She's here. And, we just had a conversation, and she just kind of gave me the steps in which, I needed to get this published. Of course, you have to copyright your material. So that's the thing. You need to copyright your material first. So that was the first thing I did. And then after that, it was just a matter of I had in mind what I wanted the cover to look like. And my publicist, again, she handed me over to somebody who designed the cover. Even with the layout of the inside of the book, he took care of all that, and I'm trying to tell you something. Let me help y'all understand something. When God says move, you have got to move. And what I heard so clear December of last year was, he said, Tanya, if you do not do this now, you're going to miss your opportunity. And I sat with that and I was like, I heard you loud and clear. Let me get on this. And once I put action in place, everything came together. Literally, he produced this cover to me in 7 days. He took my idea, he put it on paper, and he produced some things. We had to get the color of the legs right, because when
I remember,
the legs were, they ain't had no melanin in the legs, and I was like, that ain't it.
I was going to ask you.
I was like, we need some melanin.
I was going to ask, and someone just put in the chat, is this your leg, Tanya?
I mean, it might be.
So someone just asked in the chat. So
that's my cousin Kim. My cousin Kim out in Philly. Hey, Kim. Yeah, so look, so funny. Like I said, the first set of legs that came through, I was like, baby, no, they too light. They're too light.
I remember you shared it with me. I'm like, who's that character?
Right. So honestly, literally within a matter of 2 weeks, I had the cover, the book was formatted, and I just uploaded and let everybody else send it out to where it needed to go, and that was it. So again, I will say, and I know you guys have heard this, faith without works is dead. So y'all can have all the faith in the world, and you can be hoping and wishing and praying, but you gotta put some action behind it, And I think that once God sees you really intentionally moving, oh baby, he gonna put all the pieces together for you. So
pretty much.
And
as I'm looking at the book, as reading the book, I noticed initially, I was looking for chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3 is lesson 1 through 31. Yes. Why use the word lesson instead of chapter?
Because in each lesson, there's something to be learned. And that's why I chose to do that. There's a lesson in everything that we do, good, bad, or indifferent. There's a lesson in all of it. And that's why I chose lesson instead of chapters.
Really good. And when as you get to the end, you start thinking, oh, they're going to learn today. You going to learn. Yeah. You thought you knew, but it's that type of, and I think the lesson was very, after the first and second, I'm like, oh, I definitely get this is why it's lessons, because life is all about lessons,
Life is all about lessons.
And as learn progression.
Absolutely. And as my grandmother used to say, keep living. Keep living, because sometimes the things that you say you won't do, I would never do, I can't see myself doing. Okay, keep living. We'll see how that pans out for you.
I was going to say too, I know a lot of people are jumping on to discuss well, if I live in another city, would I see you on tour? Are you visiting any bookstores? I know a lot of people shop online now, but I'm old school. I would still like to go to a book signing. Is that something that you have planned? And I'm not what next in you.
I know, but no, that is absolutely something that I'm working on. Phyllis, my publicist, like I said, who's on this live, we're working on. I really want to go to like Black-owned bookstores, and so again, because the book takes place in LA, Philly, Detroit, Chicago, DC, Vegas. Those are the cities that I'd like to go and hit up, so that my Carrie Bradshaw moment, if you guys are familiar with Sex and the City, she does her readings, that's what I want to do. I would like to be able to take whatever lesson is for that particular city and have a reading for that, because then I think, the people that are there, I think they get a kick out of that.
Okay. And people can always follow you and get the what's happening and everything on Hey Lady.
Absolutely. All things Hey Lady by Tanya on Instagram, on Facebook, on Pinterest, on Twitter. Hey Lady by Tanya. You can absolutely find me at that handle.
Okay. Well, look, let's turn the tables. Did you have any questions for me as a reader, a connoisseur of this book?
Yes, I do. I just overall, like I said, I knew initially giving it to you, I knew that you would give me your honest feedback, and so I would ask you, what would be your takeaway from the book?
I would say my takeaway would be everything is not what it seems. Everything shines, not golden, and that there's always two sides to every story.
Absolutely.
And it's he said, she said, and the truth.
Absolutely.
I believe 100 people can read this book and you will have 100 different takeaways. And that's how this book is engaging. I think, there's always what you see is not always what you get.
Absolutely.
And sometimes what you see is gorgeous and beautiful. Just with social media, we see lifestyles. We're actually engaging with people 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, but we don't know the backstory. Absolutely. But this gives us a backstory of at least a handful of fictional characters. And I think, life imitates art. And I think this story is playing out today.
Absolutely.
Somewhere, some corner of the world. So I think it's very realistic. And again, super easy read. This is something perfect for a plane ride, especially if you're going, overseas. You can pick this book up and read it and contemplate on for the rest of your trip. So it was.
Yeah. Somebody asked about an audiobook. Yes, I am working on the audiobook for sure. For sure. A lot of people have asked me that. I know so many people are into audiobooks, and that is something that I'm working on. I'd like to be able to turn it into some type of screenplay, like in my imagination.
I think Kendall had said something about that earlier in the chat. She said something about movie and characters. She said she was what next thing.
Yes. But that is absolutely what I would love to do. I think about how we all were just craving for the best man, the final chapter to come out, and we all engaged and we jumped in there because we don't have anything.
Yes.
We don't have anything, particularly for, the 40 and over demographics that we're like really, flocking to. Issa Rae, she's kind of all about the millennials, and I love her content, but just that thing of, the 40 and over, type of demographic, like I said, and just a period piece, going back to the 90s and what that meant for all of us, and so that's really what I would love to do. I would love it to be on like a Netflix or something, and they just kind of break it up into like maybe 6 different episodes, and then I would have the next, season for the next book, which would tell a different story. So that's like my put it in the universe. God, you hear me? My prayer is that it lands into the right person's hands, and they think it's something worthy to be able to produce like that. So
I remember initially after reading the book, we actually discussed who would be playing this character.
yes,
Like it was like a casting call, and that was super fun.
Mm-hmm.
That was super fun.
And that's what I'm really curious too. I've been asking people that, share your thoughts with me. Who do you see as Kevin? Who do you see as Layla? Like in your head, as you're reading these characters and you're imagining these, who do you see playing these people? I would love to know people's thoughts on that for sure.
I think after reading the book, that's a natural progression of the thoughts. Like, who you visualize these people, like who would play this person, and you're so detailed in describing these people. So it's almost like you can say, oh yeah, that's that person.
Right. And so Charlene, thank you. Look, I have Charlene Austin on here. And when I tell y'all I love this girl, I said this a while ago when they say sometimes strangers will show up and support you quicker and faster than your friends and family. That's her. That's Charlene Austin. And so I always want to give you love. She said the book is absolutely amazing, and I couldn't be more proud of you. And thank you so much. Thank you for ordering the book. Thank you for reading the book. Thank you for being on this live. And just thank you for just always supporting me, Charlene. So just want to give you your props again.
Having a squad, having a tribe is super important. How did you lean on your tribe during this whole process, the entire 10 years? Like, how have you engaged, your tribe?
I would just pick them for, ideas, or just ask them, how does this sound? What do you think? I know Simone, if she's still on here, my best friend out of Atlanta, she knows a lot of the story because she's been around, she's been in my life for over 20 years. And so a lot of the things that I've shared with her, she already knew. But it's one thing, when everybody's kind of like hearing me talking about it versus like actually seeing on paper and then like reading it. And so she read it. She was like, girl, I was up to 1. I read it. And she was just like, I'm so proud of you. She was like, you did that, And so for me, when it comes from your friends and your family, it just means so much. It just, my whole thing is just, I do what I do to inspire others so that they can do what they want to do, And like I said earlier, I didn't set out to be a writer per se. You could have told me this, years and years ago that this is what happened. But I just know that when I put my mind to something, it's already done. And so I say this again for anybody that's just stuck. You're stuck on perfection. You're stuck on fear. You got to get rid of it because you're going to go through life and then you're going to have regrets in the end. And one thing that I promise myself, is that I don't want to live a life of any regrets, 1. And then 2, as I put in the book, the dedication to my son, is I said to him, the greatest gift that I can give to you is a life well lived. And that's just what I try and show him. And I think my son is in here. Hey, Sire. I think he's here somewhere, guys. I did see you come in earlier. Hi, Sire. Hi. So that's what I try to do. Really do. Intentionally, and just, give people that.
Well, you certainly delivered. And I think, and I am honored that you trusted me. This is, again, I'll get this back to you one day. I'm super glad that you trusted me, because I know you gave the backstory of how we met a year ago or something on a live.
Yes.
We met random at a wedding, at a real life love story in 2019. Yes, 2019. And you know how when you meet people, you're like, oh yeah, we'll get together. Didn't see you at all for a year and a half in LA. And so to see everything come full circle, and I've seen this girl works hard, like super duper hard. So what you see, and she's a real deal. So what you see on this internet is, we're neighbors. I can go over there. It's going on right now in real time. And so this is actually putting in the work and actually believing in yourself and actually delivering what you said you were going to do. Like, she's one of these people, if she says she's going to do it, she's going to do it. And she's going to do it all the way.
I ain't half stepping. No, I tell people all the time, look, Don't half-ass anything. Whole-ass one thing.
Yeah.
Before you half-ass anything. Just whole-ass one thing. You
Right.
know? So no, I'm not. And again, it's just I take pride in what I produce and what I put out there, you know? And yeah, that hasn't changed at all.
Well, you all make sure you get your copy and be on the lookout for her coming to a city near you. If she doesn't come to a city near you, you know she'll make it live. And so you'll be able to join from whatever corner of the earth that she decides to grace with her presence. Thank you for writing this book. Thank you for believing in yourself and just, you know, sharing this story with the world because it's super necessary and absolutely entertaining.
Thank you, Danielle. And again, I just want to say to you, thank you so much, like I said, for being the first to read the completed work, for your honesty, for just letting me know, you know, I don't understand that. That makes sense. I don't like that, you know, just all of that. I appreciate you and who you've been in my life. You're just the most supportive person, you know, no shade. No backhanded compliments, no none of that. You know what I mean? You show up for me and you always show out. Anything that I've ever asked you to do, you just like tell me when, tell me where, what I need to put on, and it's done. So I just want to tell you that I love you so much. Thank you for hosting this tonight. Yes.
This was super duper fun.
We did that.
Thank you for inviting me. And I think, you know, the less discussed, the more hands it gets into. I'm looking forward to logging in on the next live and adding my comments because everybody is going to have a different takeaway, but all the more meaningful.
Absolutely. And speaking of that, the next Let's Discuss is actually next Wednesday, the same time. We're going to have a man's point of view. You guys are going to meet my ex, hey Tony, Chicago. He was actually very instrumental when it came to the basketball jargon and the plays and stuff like that that's in the book. He really helped me out a great deal. And so I'd really like for you all to hear his perspective, like I said, from a man, because, you know, women, we know we don't all think the same, you know, and he's funny as hell, y'all. So I can only imagine what he's going to say, but it should be quite interesting. So I hope to see you guys back here next Wednesday, same time, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for the next Let's Discuss, guys. Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. Woo,
Thank you so much. And I do have one more thing. I think Alan Payne could be in the movie.
Lord, hold up, y'all. This woman been married in her head to Alan Payne for 30, 40 years now.
35.
Who he gonna play?
I mean, we have to talk. We worry about that in his contracting, but it's like, you know, we don't know yet. I mean, somebody.
He's so crazy. Thank you, Tanya, at the_Laura_Carter _team. If you guys are needing a realtor in Pennsylvania, hit her up. Thank you, girl. Thank you so much.
And I see a lot of my friends. Yes. Thank you all for logging in the live and for the support.
Yes.
Look, her say, did she say not Kevin? Yeah.
Oh, she said, and somebody said an Ice Cube or Method Man. Honey, you ain't never lied. Method Man could definitely get in there and get in some of this action for sure.
Okay.
But y'all read the book. Send me your comments, your suggestions. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you didn't like. Tell me as an artist, like Erykah Badu says, I'm an artist, so I'm sensitive about my shit, so be careful.
Right.
But tell me
lightly
where you feel like, you know, there's improvement. Because like I said, the next book is coming along, and I can only get better at this. All right? All right, girlfriend. All right. Well, I will talk to you all later.
Bye.
Have a good one. Make sure you pick up your copy of Love Sought, Barnes & Noble, Amazon, my website. You'll get it autographed, and Walmart. All right, y'all. I'll talk to y'all next week. Bye.